Om Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. We were going through the bhakti path to realize God. How do we proceed? We saw various disciplines coming to Sri Ramakrishna. We saw him telling the 4 important disciplines for awakening the love within. One is Nitya, constant repetition of God's name, means singing the names and glories of God. The second one, Sri Ramakrishna tells, is Satsanga, company of the holy men, or the company of the advanced spiritual aspirants. Satsanga, Sadhu Sangha. The company of the realized ones, Sat. Sat refers to the realized soul. Sat means actually existence. Asti, from the root Asti. One who has reached the pure existence, become one with the existence as Brahman, as the Atman. Actually, the Atman alone abides, Brahman alone abides, and all else is manifestation and demanifestation, appearance and disappearance, constantly changing flux. It doesn't have an existence of its own. The existence it receives is from the Absolute. All things, the whole universe and all beings in it exist only because of the Brahman behind, the absolute existence behind. The whole of relative is dependent and is just a manifestation of the, just like we see image in a mirror. Image doesn't have an existence of its own. It has borrowed the existence of the mirror and exhibiting itself to be existing. Otherwise, we could have taken out the image from the mirror if it were to have had independent existence. So Sat refers to one who has totally the individual existence, that is separateness from the rest of the universe, rest of the reality. When I say I am, the I refers to the bodily existence. I go, I come, I do. This I, the individual existence, is separation from the rest of the universe. So this my existence cannot be Sat. My existence as bodily existence or independent of bodily existence. Suppose I am in dream state, then also I am not Sat, because I have the dream identity with the dream body. Dream self and dream ego awakens. Waking self and waking ego dissolves when I enter into sleep. So it cannot be the Sat, because it is changing. From there I go to the deep sleep. In that state also I cannot be Sat, because I am carrying all my awarenesses of the waking state, my individuality, everything, but it is there in the seed form alone, so I am not aware of it, but it continues to exist with me as my inseparable existence, as if to come back to the waking state again. So that state also I am not Sat. When I leave all that in the Karana Sharira and slip into my own real existence, the Vishwa Chaitanya, the individual consciousness, the Jiva Tattva or uh, the Jivatman, independent of all nature's parts, physical body, subtle body, causal body, all that is connected with the nature when I live and expand in the universal consciousness. The Vyashti Chaitanya becoming Samashti Chaitanya in deep second stage of the deep sleep. I may call myself Sat, but there the any part of my existence doesn't exist. There is no duality experienced. So there is no calling. When I become Sat, there is no calling. But the stigma of the karma still is attached to me. It drags me back from the Sat state. It temporarily, I cannot exist without touching that every day. So I have to go there. Myself become one with it, again project out because only because of the karmic load, and I come to the waking state again. In any of the state, waking state, dream state, deep sleep, Jagra, Swapna, Shushupti, I cannot be Sat. When I expand to the superconscious state, that is the Samadhi Sthiti, I meet. Again, I lose all that which is connected with the nature. And what remains with me as with the nature, of the nature, like the intellect, buddhi, and my five senses, sense organs. When in Savikalpa Samadhi they continue to exist, I see God, experience God. Mind dissolves in the intellect. The ego stands behind the intellect. Intellect is charged with the awareness, consciousness of God. And it has lost its property of being a part of nature. Like red hot iron is no more iron, it is fire. Like that, the intellect, buddhi has become Chaitanyik, pervaded by Chaitanya. Then I am Sat. I am experiencing God. Just having the intellect which belongs to God. The God does the prana pratishtha in me. His energy, I am moving towards God. I get a prema sharira, which is, prema is my self, Atman, manifestation of the Atman. There nothing of the Prakriti remains there as Prakriti. Now I am Sat, I have seen God. When I come back, it is like the whole thing is dipped in the divine. The divinity, the whole, my existence, my body, my mind, my senses, my pranas also, everything what I am now is same Prakriti parts, but it is charged and divinized by the divine presence. It has lost all its nature's existence. Now the whole body is like Mantramaya Sharira. It is like Daivamaya Sharira. The whole body, mind, everything. It cannot have Kamini Kanchana in it. No traces of it will be found after one visits God, meets Him and come back. There is only divine awareness, seeing divine everywhere. He lives beyond the raga dvesha, beyond the attachments and aversions of the world. He has no desires to fulfill because he is rich enough. It is like a child growing into a youth, no more wants to play with the toys of the infancy. Now he has grown up. He has grown to the spiritual existence. The spiritual existence which reflects at every level of his being the whole divinity that is pervading his bodily existence, make him Sat Purusha. Satsanga is actually in essence and reality. Satsanga is the company of those who have realized souls. Now, as we are advancing towards deep into the Kali Yuga, the season, that is just like seasons change, the winter, summer, how it changes, like 4 seasons we have. Like that, 4 yugas with respect to dharma and adharma. Seasons we see according to the heat and cold. Winter, summer, rainy, spring, the 4 seasons. Like that, Kali Yuga, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, we see different yugas. Yugas is with respect to dharma. When dharma is minimum, it is Kali Yuga. When dharma is maximum, it is Satya Yuga. Everything is in going in cyclic order. This also goes in cyclic order. So we are advancing in Kali Yuga where materialism becomes more predominant than the spirituality. In Satya Yuga, we see the spirituality becoming so intense and clear like daylight, and the materialism is going like a shadow behind, unseen, unperceived. So this difference, now a person who has realized God is like the person of the Satya Yuga. He has just a bodily existence only for namesake, but whole of his being is spiritualized, like an electrified vessel. Wherever you touch, you see the electricity is pervading it. It is no more a vessel, it is electricity. Like that, the bodily system, the mental system, whole the entire being, from the core of his being to the skin, everything, his mental states, everything is in exact tuning, perfect tuning with the whole reality and the beyond. The whole universe, he lives at the cosmic level. So, to be in his presence, to talk to him, to listen to him, to know the transcendental realm, all this we see, we have become slowly that we are imbibing something from the transcendental realm. We have been understanding the transcendental through the books and other things. Now we see a person who is enlightened, who can give the first-hand information of the other side. This is the real satsanga. When these satsangas were very common, each person in Vedic times, about 60% of the population were realized souls. Each is spreading spirituality, radiating peace and bliss. Who wants the material enjoyments of the temporary, momentary enjoyments of the world? So that was the, then as we come down slowly, little to the materialistic aspect of life, we enter into becoming more and more intensely body, seeking the momentary pleasures of living the happiness, living the peace, living the bliss of the Atman. We are moving towards the pleasures, sense pleasures, to momentary sense pleasures which bind the man and give him lot of suffering. So when we turn what we hear or learn through the scriptures, we are getting direct information from that. This is satsanga. Now all the devotees of Sri Ramakrishna were in real satsanga. Any realized soul, Ramana Maharshi, people like that, Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, all these acharyas, Vallabhacharya, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Mesu saints of whole India, you see, they are all realized souls. They are like bridge between the transcendental and the relative existence, between the absolute and the relative. So I can see the other side, beyond this universe. I can see beyond my bodily existence, all the layers covering myself. Beyond that is the infinite, eternal existence. So this is satsanga. When this is not available, we go to the next stage, who has high learning and dispassion towards the world. He has not realized, but he doesn't have a tendency to pull or being pulled by the worldly enjoyments. He understands the impermanency of the world and the after effects, the parinama of running after the world. He has withdrawn his mind to a great extent, just doing his duties of life and aspiring for God, aspiring for spiritual life. That also becomes the second stage of satsanga. Means he will always try to protect you from the fall in the world. He again and again directs, see, I am going in this path. This is the right path. This is the path that has been tread by all saints. I am walking on that path. Come with me. This is another aspect of satsanga. Then we have the third, who is well learned, well authority in scriptures, but he has not been able to release him totally from the worldly desires. Some small things, duties and responsibilities, with the duties and responsibilities, little here, there, he preserves some money, some wealth for his own safety. The total dependence has not yet come, but he can tell us about the reality from the scriptures. They are like Pandits of the modern times who has the capacity to explain the scriptures. We have to use our intellect and pray to the Lord. They will give us the map, but they themselves could not raise to that level. But at the same time, there are no chances of their fall. Whatever they are trying to hold on a little and stretch themselves towards the divine. But they are not able to fully release the grip of the world. That release from the grip of the world transforms the life. Otherwise, it inspires the life. We see many of the commercial institutions teaching spirituality. They are like that. Commercial aspect they cannot leave. They don't want to leave. But they can give the exact meaning. They can inspire you. They cannot transpire you. Transformation is not possible. But higher, they can transform you. They can still higher. They can take you to the realization. So as we come down, then finally, the satsanga, when we don't get anybody like that, the last resort is to attend to the scriptures directly, Bhagavad Gita, try to contemplate, try to see what all explanations are available from different parts, from different persons, from different angles. Same Bhagavad Gita, take one sloka, go on contemplating yourself, try to understand what other people's standard, like Shankaracharya, what they have got to tell, other Madhvacharya, what he has got to tell about the same shloka, and what Ramanujacharya is telling, what modern interpreters are telling. So all these collectively, just an understanding. Then you have to pray. Pray, give me what you intended. When God told Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, what was in the mind of Krishna, what he wanted. Because what Guru teaches is not what disciple understands. Guru is telling from his realizations, and disciple is seeing from the other side of his experience of the world. The transcendental reality which doesn't have an comparison, upama is not there, that cannot be compared with anything of the world. And the disciple has only worldly background. He knows everything, transformation. He looks upon God as a person, not as a all-pervading reality. He doesn't understand what is all-pervading reality. That God can manifest anywhere, anyway. Now with the modern understanding of science, we can say the all-pervading, the waves of TV waves, the electromagnetic waves, it's all-pervading. It can manifest anywhere if a proper instrument like TV is available. It can manifest. It is there, all pervading. Anywhere you can, just an antenna is needed to absorb. And then this, the Vyakta and Avyakta aspect of God, we can to some extent understand now with these background. Otherwise, God is all pervading and He can manifest anywhere, anytime, anyway, which is very difficult to understand. Now with the mobile, how the what you speak becomes avyakta and pervades the whole universe through the towers, and how wherever the other person is there, how it manifests in that your speech is becoming vyakta, is becoming avyakta, avyakta is becoming vyakta again in the other's mobile. Then we can understand how God pervades everything. Wherever there is a call, He can manifest. He manifests sometimes, He manifests, but which we don't have the senses to perceive. The perception is also necessary. The media also necessary. So we see we have to pray to make me understand what was Krishna's intention in telling. What background did he have in telling Arjuna every word that came out of his mouth? Then we slowly penetrate into the words and enter the another realm, a realm which belongs to the other world. The penetration is most important. That comes ekagrata, slowly trying to understand, contemplating on it again and again. Each sloka of the first chapter, you can just leave it, second chapter onwards. Ashochan anvashocastvam. Krishna begins his sermon. So from there, this one sloka, go on contemplating. Bring that whole view of the war field, the previous background in which the whole thing is happening. Still background of the Mahabharata, what Vyasa wanted to present to us, how God incarnating for the sake of man, how does the Dharma Samsthapana, and as a part of Dharma Samsthapana to show the path to us, to make us understand, to lift us to the how he is making that Arjuna as one of the nimitta, an occasion to give the message to the world. All this background in which if you try to understand each sloka, then the text Bhagavad Gita becomes the satsanga for you. This is the last resort we have when we are not able to get any kind of satsanga. We go to the reading with ekagrata, with prayer. Prayer is an important part in understanding the secrets of nature and the properties of God. So we go with this. This is what Thakur says, you need satsanga, because it is that which inspires us, it is that which gives us information, it is that which leads us. Satsanga leads it, and the possibility that I too can attain, that possibility fills you with hope and makes you work for it. We need tremendous strength to overcome the tamas, to overcome the maya, and go beyond. That much of impetus, the propelling and impelling forces are needed to cross over, and it comes from the satsanga. And the other part, the first part of the time over, I think, no? So the first part comes to the another aspect. We will take up. This is one satsanga, the singing the names and glories of God. It is an important thing which a link. It is something like logging in, where there is direct download is possible. This is the satsanga purifies us, fills us with some kind of energy and strength needed for us to log in. It gives us the qualification to log in. All that is needed, equipment. I'm equipped. Satsanga makes me equipped to log to the absolute in and through the savikalpa, that is the personal God, the impersonal behind the personal, and to personal only I can log in because I am there, separate from God. When I find myself one with the God, there are no two, then the question doesn't come. The impersonal absolute, the behind I am entering into. But now at this stage of my existence, the Advaita is too high an ideal for me. It is the base that I need on which I have to stand because I get a firm footing where I don't shake at any moment because Advaita gives such a, you see in Bhagavad Gita also, it begins with pure Advaiti concepts for Arjuna so that he will not be shaken by anything happening in the world, even death. Death is a play, birth is a play. So to that extent, the how the whole of second chapter, Nainam Chindati Shastrani is one part. Another part is, don't think you are not existing earlier, not you are going to die and disappear. No, you existed earlier. Now also you just put on a body and come, and you are going to continue without body to acquire another body. Your life continues with or without body. Now and then you are putting on body and going away. This is a play. Birth and death is a play. All this explanation makes him, nothing shakes him. No fear enters into him. What will happen? The consequence. Suppose I fast today. Suppose I miss my sleep. What happens? These fears don't disturb them. The one that is, he is able to stand up and work for his attainment to any extent. That kind of equipment is equipped with all that is necessary to log into that personal God. Here, all other aspects of my existence, except the zeal, the strength, the vision, I lose all other things, and only love stretches. The love is now, it is manifestation of my Atman. It is in such a force that it is just, it is all my strength, all my purity of the Atman, all my understanding of immortality. I am trying to enter into the eternity, eternal relationship with my beloved. So the love and the dedication that I have to give myself, I must totally dissolve myself in that. So that much of logging is possible only with this equipped state. And that for that logging we use the other part, singing the names and glories of God. Wherever there is, you find something good and great, something that is attracting you beyond the limits of time and space, taking you to the eternity as if. So there your attention always goes. I want a relationship, I want to love someone, I want to be loved, but I want it to be eternal, not to momentary love and go away. No, it cannot be love. And conditional love. You be like this, I love you. You be what I say, what I expect you to be, I love. It's conditional love. It's a kind of business. No, it's unconditional love. I have given means given forever. Whatever be the condition, future, whatever be the consequences, I don't mind. So this kind of giving, we see, is possible only in this, in and through the first part, that is singing the names and glories of God, you see the glories of God. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.